Hello, hello, and welcome to Oracle Hour. My name is Sabrina Rising. I'm a psychic medium and a spiritual teacher, and it's my honor to channel spirit on your behalf. Welcome to our broadcast. It's so lovely to be here with you all every Wednesday and Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific. If you're new here, you're just stopping by, please say hi in the comments. If you want to get a question answered, if you're here for a reading, or you've got something in your life that you're struggling with, that you want guidance on or advice on, please put your question in the chat. I answer questions on a first come, first serve basis, unless, of course, you are a paying community member, in which case, you will get your question answered first. Okay, so if you are a community member, you get priority access in the chat. You also get access to our Oracle Gathering, which is the last Saturday of this month. It's usually at Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific for about 2 hours. I do a psychic mediumship demonstration gallery where I connect you with your loved ones, messages from spirit and your higher self, and we interact with each other on screen, and I take questions and we go deeper into whatever it is you might be struggling with in a community environment. That's the link to join the Oracle Gathering. If you just want to come and check it out once, you can buy a one-time ticket, or you can join our YouTube membership and have access every month and come. It's once a month on a Saturday where we all gather in community for deeper readings and community support. If you join the channel, you also get access to my private Facebook group where Lyriel does the intuitive tarot readings on Friday, which is a beautiful offering. I also go live there on Tuesdays, which is also a lot of fun. And I go deeper into more personal development, healing, trauma release topics during that live broadcast as well. And it's just a lovely community that we have growing around us. And I'm honored to facilitate everybody's healing journey in our community. There's also access to the members only content on my channel, which is, everything from developing your intuition to inner child work to learning how to manifest. It's all there for you. So go and check that out when you have a chance. Like I said, if you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe and put your question in the chat so I can answer questions on a first come, first serve basis. I do my best to spend a few minutes with everybody, so hopefully I can get to you. And just be open. Be open. I like to start these gatherings with an intention. Of course, I always meditate before I come online with you. I just like to set an intention that all the messages that come through tonight are not only for the people that I'm reading for, but they're for all of us, myself included. Okay, so we gather here not by accident. If you're drawn here tonight, you're here for a reason. There is something that you will hear tonight that's going to land for you if you let it, if you allow it. There's something that's going to click into place because spirit has brought you here. Your soul has led you here, and there's something that your heart needs that will come through, whether it comes through for you directly or if it's in another reading with somebody else, or perhaps it's something in the topic that I'll be teaching tonight, which is about visibility, about giving ourselves permission to be seen. This can be such an edge for so many of us, myself included. So I'll talk a little bit about my journey around being seen and being willing to be visible and share my gifts with the world. And if you have any questions or comments about that, anything about your story that you want to share, again, please feel free to share in the comments. I'm going to take a moment just to say hello to my community that's always here, ready to go. It's lovely to see you all. Hi, Patty. Hi, Shiloh. Hi, Jenna. Hi, Sybil. Hello, Vicky. Hi, Amy. Good to see you here. Beautiful. All right. There's already so many of you here, which is awesome. If you're watching us from Instagram, you can see me, but I can't see you. So you can join the broadcast on Instagram, but if you have questions, you've got to come and post them in YouTube at Sabrina Rising. Lyriel is going to post the link in my stories momentarily. So if you don't have the link readily available, if you're looking for it, if you see me that I'm live, but you don't know how to come and join, the link will be in my stories. Go and check those out and come and join us on YouTube and put your question in the chat. Hi, Jolie. I see you. So if you're on Facebook, you can post your comments right on the Facebook feed. Lyriel is managing those. LinkedIn and YouTube, again, you must be here in YouTube to put the questions in the chat. Okay, good. So let's talk about some of us, so many of us that are hiding our light. And what does that actually mean? It means that we're not fully self-expressed. Now, I've talked about this topic in a variety of different ways over the course of, my career and as a facilitator, as a healer and a guide, about how our conditioned self, our early childhood creates this conditioning that creates an identity and ultimately, a set of beliefs about who we need to be in order to survive this world. And for so many of us, these beliefs do not include being fully self expressed or having the freedom to be fully self expressed or to feel safe in doing so. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Most of these beliefs include keeping ourselves small, keeping ourselves in compliance with whatever we feel society wants us to do or our environment wants us to do, doing what other people are doing, perhaps going along in order to fit in. We have a really deep need as human beings to belong and to feel like we're loved and we're approved of and we are acceptable, and we're not necessarily trained or even encouraged to go within to ask ourselves the deeper questions like who am I and why am I here, which is of course the questions that I work with when I facilitate transformational processes in my coaching containers. These are the two questions that we really work with: is who am I and why am I here? Right. So, and this is so important because we're not just here to do what it is that we're doing. We're not here to perform and produce. Performing and producing is optional. It's a choice we make because we want to function at a certain level, because we want to feel good, because we want certain results. But we're here to awaken to the truth of who we are. We're here to awaken to our spiritual essence, our soul's truth, that we are expressions of source, of God, of love, of nature, whatever your frame of reference for that is. To me, these are all synonyms of each other. When you wake up to the fact that you're an infinite being, infinite expression of consciousness, having a human experience, the options for how you're going to spend this 3D incarnation become, they become less important, less significant, right? It's really about how you're doing something and the awareness in which you bring to whatever it is that you're undertaking. Okay, so the desire to be seen, to be visible, to be fully self-expressed is normal. It's natural and it's human, and we all have it. As a soul, expressing itself through this human body that you're inhabiting during this lifetime, it's natural that you would want to find fulfillment. And part of that fulfillment is, am I sharing what brings me joy? Am I being recognized for the things that I'm good at? Do I feel safe and free to be fully self-expressed? Now, again, we go back to childhood. How many of us were, either shushed or, sent to our rooms or shut down or punished, even if we behaved in ways that were triggering to our caregivers or out of compliance in some way, shape, or form. And so we learned to keep ourselves safe. We learned to keep ourselves quiet. We learned to keep ourselves dim, and again, maybe doing things we don't really even want to do just to get along and just to survive the environment. Now, that part of you that learned to survive never really grows out of it. We don't ever stop and grow out of it. We don't question it, especially if what we've chosen to do or participate in and the circumstances we've created are somewhat working for us, right? Even if we don't feel joyful and happy and free, we might be in jobs that are working, that are helping us provide for ourselves and our families, but aren't true expressions of who we are. They don't really light us up. They don't fully bring us joy. Right. And so, often, I don't know if you heard the expression, good stops great. This is so true, because when we're able to build something that's relatively good, we don't bother to go deeper. And that can be you. You don't necessarily have to be in excruciating pain or agonizing over your life or in a traumatic situation, trying to recover from a traumatic situation in order to come to inner work and ask yourselves the deeper questions: who am I and why am I here? But those of us that aren't fully visible, that aren't fully self-expressed, are experiencing a limited expression, a limited reality, and wherever we are limited, we're not fully experiencing the joy that's available to us. Okay, so, and I've often said this, is that you can't keep yourself safe and fully self-expressed at the same time. You just can't. Okay, so we have to make a decision. It's kind of like we can't fall in love fully and wholeheartedly and completely if we are afraid of getting our heart broken, right? You can't prevent yourself from getting your heart broken and still give yourself fully to another. It's just not possible. Okay, so we have to be willing to be uncomfortable, to take a risk, and to see that your self-expression is important to you and you alone. It's part of your personal integrity. It's part of what you came here to work through. Deconditioning, when we talk about healing from early childhood or recovering from trauma, we talk about deconditioning from the beliefs that were established during that phase of life when we really had no choice. And coming out of that conditioning requires learning to face our fears, learning to see them as perceptual but not actual, right? It's not a physical fear that we have that we're responding to. It's a perceptual fear. Something bad will happen to me. I might lose what I have, or people will not like me, or I might be judged or criticized by other people. We fear judgment, and because we fear judgment, we manipulate ourselves to make ourselves more pleasing to our environment. Whether that's, you're trying to manipulate your physical body, your physical appearance, or the way you speak, or what you do for a living, or how you behave in relationships. We do that because we want to feel accepted. We want to feel safe. We want to feel like whatever it is that we have is not going to be taken away from us. We want to feel loved. We want to feel accepted. Okay. So again, the desire to be visible, to be seen, to be recognized, and to be fully self-expressed is normal, but it's never going to be fulfilled until we start learning to see ourselves and accepting ourselves as we are, getting honest with ourselves about who am I really? And there's that question again. So when you sit with the question in your spiritual practice, which I recommend you cultivate, taking some deep diaphragmatic breaths every day and just getting still and quiet, perhaps closing your eyes and going inward. You can do this 5 minutes a day and just sitting with this question, who am I really? And am I living the life that I really desire to live? And sometimes you think of, what's available, what's out there, what other people are doing, and you might compare yourself and say, I can't have what she has, or I can't have what he has, or this is not available to me. I don't have the freedom to make those choices because I have responsibilities, or I have commitments, or I have, other things that I am committed to that I can't let go of. All of this is a choice. Okay. The circumstances of your life are a reflection of your belief system. This is now your belief system is what magnetizes the situations that will allow you to accumulate the evidence and say, oh, this is just the way life is. Look at how much evidence I have. When you challenge your belief system, you shift your reality. And that takes courage. It takes a willingness to see that you can, that you should, and that you are worthy of having the life that you deeply, deeply desire. Okay. So oftentimes, we feel like, oh, I'm going to take such a risk, or perhaps I'll lose friends, or perhaps I'll lose my relationship, or perhaps I'm going to, jeopardize the good that I have in my life. These are all variations of the same fear. Ultimately, what we risk losing is self-respect, and we risk losing our own deep desire to be fulfilled. That's the thing that we're giving up in order to fit in with our environments, in order to be in compliance with whatever pressure we might feel on a societal level. Okay, so the desire to be fully self-expressed is natural, it's normal, and it's your God-given right to be who you truly are, right? And this is something that I know personally. I spent many years in corporate, believe it or not, in the corporate world, and doing roles and jobs that, when I look back now, I can't imagine it. But of course, I'm grateful for that time in my life when I learned who I was and who I wasn't. And then of course I took a major sabbatical to do some deep inner work to heal myself of a variety of different things. And I immersed myself in spiritual practice. And when I sort of came up for air, I realized all I wanted to do was help people. And I started coaching. I started working with others in intuitive therapeutic capacity and helping others heal from trauma, helping them heal from, self-sabotaging, self-destructive coping mechanisms, which I had liberated myself from. And of course, we're all a work in progress. And so over the years, my work has evolved, and it's evolved. It's gone from coaching to, just coaching, to more intuitive work, to more mystical work, to more psychic work and mediumship work. And yet it's all the same. Ultimately, it doesn't matter what layer we're working with. It's really about learning to love ourselves wholly, fully, and completely, and being willing to step out and say, this is who I am. right? And so I faced those challenges myself when I came out, as a psychic and a medium and a channel. And of course, we live in a society now that sees this as much more acceptable today than when I first started. But ultimately, it's really about being okay with yourself and learning to love and accept yourself exactly as you are, and to trust your gifts, to trust that if you have a desire to express something, that's your soul tapping you on the shoulder saying, it's time for you to develop this part of yourself. It's time for you to give of yourself in this way. It's kind of like metaphysical supply and demand. When you look at the law of economics, like when there is a demand for something, there is a supply. When there's a supply for something, there's a demand. So if your soul has a desire to provide something to the universe, it's because there is a demand that exists for it, even if you can't see it. Okay, there is someone out there that wants what you have, whatever that is, whatever it is that you have to offer, whether it's something artistic, something musical, something something basic. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be doing something huge with your life. If you have a desire to express yourself in a certain way, or you have an idea that's popping in your head, it's not random, and it's not wrong, and it's not foolish, and it's not silly. Notice a tendency to judge. That's the identity that says, oh, you can't do that, or you can't have this, or you would never be good enough for this, or you don't have the right credentials, or of course all the limiting beliefs come in because we're trying to keep ourselves safe from being judged, feeling shame, feeling humiliation, and experiencing rejection. These are all feelings we just don't want to feel, right? We do whatever it takes to avoid experiencing this kind of discomfort, but then we're never really true to ourselves, right? So you have to decide what's more important to you. Is it more important to fit in, to be part of something that other people deem as acceptable, or is it more important to you to understand, who am I really? Who am I really? And how do I want to take this awareness and express it in the world in such a way that it brings me so much joy that I can't imagine myself doing anything else? And I experienced this. I experienced this in my work, in my show, in my broadcast, in my readings, in my coaching containers. And I've built an entire life and business around this self-expression that brings me so much freedom and so much joy and so much love. And that in and of itself is its own great reward. And of course, this is my wish for you and for all beings everywhere. If you're at a point in your life where you've got an idea, you've got a desire, you want to express yourself in some way, and it seems like unreachable, or it seems like it's just completely inaccessible to you, you're closer than you think you are. It takes a willingness to believe in yourself, and a willingness to step out of your comfort zone and take on something new, and to share yourself, to create that transparency with yourself and others, so that you can learn that it's safe to be fully self-expressed, that nothing bad will happen to you, and that the people that don't understand where you're going or what decisions you're making are generally not your people anyway. The truth can never break a real connection. It can never damage true support, a real tribe in your life. In fact, the more we come online, the more we become truthful with who we are, the more we're likely to attract the people who are actually our authentic tribe, our meaningful relationships with like-minded people. Okay. So again, this is to encourage you. Of course, do this in stages. It's all really about learning to love ourselves fully and completely, which is all we're ever talking about, is how can I have more self-love, more self-acceptance, so that I can, feel more free and at home in my own skin. And when I feel more free and at home in my own skin, I'm free to express that with the world. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Hi, everybody. I love that you're all saying hi to each other. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good. So if you have any questions about being seen, being visible, how to overcome fear, the fear of rejection or self-doubt, please put those questions in the chat. We're going to jump into live readings here in a moment. Lyriel, you are in charge of the chat. Go ahead. Who's first? Hi, Patty. Okay, Patty says, hi, Sabrina. I'm asking early because I'm meeting my son at the airport. Okay, is it possible for people we haven't known to be our spirit guides? For example, loved ones and pets of my boyfriend? Yes, of course it's possible. I love this question. Not all your spirit guides are people that you know. Okay, so a spirit guide can be It can be people from a past life. It can be um, I want to say, it can be an archangel, it can be a deity from a different culture, it can be something that can be an animal. Any animal doesn't have to be an animal that you know or that has lived. It can be anything, right? So, again, your spirit guide, if you want to know who your spirit guides are, then of course I would recommend doing a session so that we can connect more deeply. Patty, I think you're not here because you're at the airport. But I would recommend just really in your own practice when you sit down to meditate is asking your spirit guide to come forward and seeing what's available to you in the awareness of what's around you when you're meditating. It can be a sound, of feeling, a message, a vision that you receive. This is a beautiful way to get to know your guides. And if you don't trust yourself enough to really be able to discern what's being shown to you, again, then I would recommend booking a reading. But yes, the short answer to your question is yes, your spirit guides can be, whoever it is that you've connected with in this life. If you feel like you have a bond with your boyfriend's pet, that can be a guide for you. And it can also be a guide from a previous lifetime, like I said, or some cultural belief or a symbol. Those can all be guides as well. Okay, so we're not necessarily personally connected to our guides. You can also have a guide that has mastered something that you are developing. For example, like if you were an opera singer and you were trying to master the opera, one of your guides could be, an opera singer, a very famous opera singer in spirit. Okay, so again, someone that's mastered something that you're working on is also another option for a guide. Okay, so again, it really depends on your practice, learning to sit and be with whatever it is you feel you need guidance on in this current phase of your life. Likely those guides will be representing whatever it is that whatever message will be most supportive at this time in your life. Okay, Patty, so I hope that's helpful. Come back and watch this portion of the show so you can leave a comment. Okay, I know you're not here, so okay, who's next? Hi, Amy. Nice to see you here. Amy says, hi, Sabrina. Do my spirit guides have any messages for my new relationship with Chris? Okay. Let me see what I have for you and Chris. It's interesting. If you're still here, please validate. For those of you that want readings, please stay on and validate. I feel like so I don't I don't know what this has to do with your question, but there's something about your brother. So, and maybe there is something similar about this guy and your brother, but there's a connection here somehow, which I'll let you fill in the gaps. And it feels like um yeah, I feel like this person is, is a mutual interest there. There's a strong attraction. But I feel like this person still is working on or dealing with his relationship to commitment. Okay. And yeah, I would be curious to know what the connection is with your brother. So if you're still here, please validate. And yeah, there's something here around like him working through his desire to be fully committed in a deeper relationship. I think he's a guy who likes to have fun. I think he's very sweet. I think he's good intentioned. But I feel like when emotional demands are made on this person, he tends to shy away or kind of not want that full responsibility. Okay. So your guides want you to know, first of all, your brother is either in spirit or he's here helping. Usually when I feel people in front, it's because they're still earth side. So there is an energy here. She says, yes, I'm here. Okay, good. There is a presence here that is kind of like looking out for you and looking out for you in this situation. I feel like you've been yeah, I feel like you've been hurt before, in terms of relationships. So we really want to keep our eye open and make sure that this person is ready for the kind of commitment that you're looking for. Okay, you got to dig a little deeper in this relationship with Chris because he is grappling with his ability to fully commit. Okay. And that hasn't shown up yet, but it will. And of course, everything that we attract is a reflection of what we're holding on to. So within, and you may not be conscious of this. So I want you to ask yourself if you're fully ready for commitment, and if you're fully, you know, choosing someone who can meet you in love, right? And we can't choose someone who can meet us in love unless we're like really fully loving ourselves. Okay, so there's a little bit of work for you to do in that realm, for this to. She's like, I don't have a brother, only two sisters. Okay, good, thank you for verifying. Yeah, I maybe he has a brother. Ask him if he does. There's something around the brother energy here with this guy. And again, going deeper and verifying whether or not this is someone who can meet you in those deeper spaces. If he has the capacity to commit. There's I want you to go deeper into getting to know him, okay? Because there's more to this guy that you haven't fully explored yet, okay? So like I said, I feel like there's a strong attraction, strong pull. I don't see major red flags, but I do see some conversations around commitment that need to be had. Okay, that's my reading for you, Amy. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I think you're a member, so we'll be seeing you at the Oracle Gathering, and we can go deeper into channeling whatever this energy is that I'm feeling for you on behalf of this Chris person and this brother energy that I'm feeling. So we'll see you in the Oracle Gathering on the 31st. Amy, thanks for being here. Beautiful. Oh yeah, there. Oh, Amy, we need your email. That's Lyriel's posting here so that you can receive the link for the gathering. Beautiful. Okay, who's next? Hi, Shiloh. She says, hi, my light is an issue at work. There's a lot of deception. One coworker and two other had a lunch gossiping about me. There's so much toxicity. Funny, I come in the back door and leave the same way. Have boundaries, respectful, got nothing but backstabbing dart throwers towards me. I see. Okay. So, I would still advise you to keep shining your light. Like, why would you can't manipulate yourself to belong in the situation or to fit in the situation. That's only going to hurt you more, and you're going to end up feeling angry with yourself. Okay, so I would continue to just keep your head up and do what you're doing at work and watch what unfolds. Like, I understand that people gossiping about you doesn't feel good. It's not pleasant. It can be very an isolating, ostracizing experience, which of course is deeply hurtful. And at the same time, I want you to develop the resilience and the inner strength to rise above this and keep your head high so that you're not affected by it. She's like, I don't want to belong. That's why I'm not accepted. Well, and that's part of what's going on, right? So you're aware of this. You see that you're pushing back against this environment. You're resisting being there. You don't want to belong with these people. You don't want to make a home with these people, so to speak. And so therefore, you're creating this experience of not being accepted. Okay, so you have a decision to make, Shiloh. Your decision is, do I want to stay here? Can I withstand this environment while I use the organization, the opportunity to work and to be of service as a way to better myself and as a way to look for something better? Okay, so I think it's time for you. I mean, I really feel like you're going to get recruited out of this place anyway. So I think I would really just pay closer attention to the work you're doing. Continue to stay in integrity. Don't get involved. Really don't get involved. Like, you're being asked to rise above the toxicity, which is so important for you because this has been the story of your life. Like, really just rising above and making a departure from how other people view the world so that you can create a new reality for yourself. She's like, should not have leave. I should not have to leave. I love what I do. Yeah. So keep focusing on loving what you do. Keep focusing on loving what you do. I do feel like you're going to get recruited out, but that will be your choice. There'll be something better down the road where you can take this experience and everything you've done and whatever you've accomplished here and get something that is more in alignment with you. It's exhausting to you because you're fighting where you are, and that's what's draining your energy. So my message to you from your guides, from spirit, especially from Nate. This is your son that's around you that wants you to know the best thing you can do here is develop equanimity. Okay, so learning to be okay with the environment, even if it doesn't change. Can you be the calm in the storm and trust that you're going to get the resources that you need, the inner resources that you need to be able to do this job, continue to do what you love so that you can eventually move into an environment that's a bit healthier? Okay. The toxic environment is a replay from childhood. It's a replay from your early childhood environment, from most of the relationships that you've had. And as you learn to heal yourself from this trauma, you're going to attract a different type of environment. Okay. So that's the work that needs to be done. The inner shift that needs to happen is for you to develop equanimity. Okay. That's my message for you tonight, Shallow. Thanks for being here. Beautiful. Okay. I hope that was helpful to everyone listening. We can't change other people. We can't change our circumstances, but we can shift how we react, how we respond. How we respond is, what's your question, Shiloh? She says, what? You're welcome. How can I what? Sorry, Lyria. My fault. How can I get recruited privately? I don't know that it's going to be private or has to be private. I think someone can reach out to you or find you on LinkedIn or find you, somewhere else. Even at a function or an event or something like that, trade show or conference, that kind of thing, something will show up. Okay. For sure. I actually feel like there is a period of time where you're there, where you're going, if you do what you're being directed to do, which is develop equanimity, keep your head high and keep focusing on doing what you love and loving what you do, eventually something will open up for you. Okay. So the how is the realm of the universe. You don't need to worry about how, and there's no action for you to take now because that's not the message you're getting. The message you're getting is to develop equanimity and then trust and surrender the outcome. Okay. Letting go of control is going to help you find peace, and it's going to help you accept that you're going to be in environments where you don't like everybody. You're going to be in environments where people don't necessarily operate the way you do or think like you do, or or they're not going to necessarily be people that you have things in common with. Okay. That will happen, but that doesn't mean that it should take you out. Okay. And it certainly doesn't mean that it should have power over you and your inner peace. Okay. So don't try to develop the inner resilience to just be professional and focus on the work that you're doing, because that is going to solve all your problems. Okay, Shiloh, that's my message for you. Okay, who else is next? Hey, Jenna, good to see you here tonight. Jenna says, hi, Sabrina. Connection and guidance from my spirit guides are being felt. Beautiful. Who do you see as spirit guides in my life, and what messages do they have? I know certainly a son. There's a male in spirit. There's actually two men around you. One feels like your son, so it's a younger man, young man. And the other one I think I feels like your father, feels like your direct father. So there's two men in spirit around you now. And there is another guide that's female, but it's far removed. It's far removed in your ancestry. It doesn't feel like someone that you're really that close to. But today is my mom's birthday, and she has been in heaven for many years. Thanks. Okay, beautiful. This female is, let me just finish with the guide's question. So it's interesting, because your mom and dad are together, but your mom is sort of taking a back seat to your father. So it feels like that your dad is coming forward because you're at a phase in your life, and please validate this if this is correct. You're at a phase right now in your life where you're looking at relocating and moving, and there's some, like logistical questions that you need to answer, decisions that you need to make. Okay. I feel like he's coming forward, and she's sort of taking a step back, but she's there and she's around you, and she knows the candle that you lit for her. So she sees that, and she sees that there is um, some type of um, some type of, it's either a prayer or something you've written and so on, and she wants to acknowledge that she sees that um that you've dedicated some time to connecting with her. Okay. The other guide that I feel is for more further removed in your ancestral line, so down the maternal line. So this could be a grandmother, your mom's mom, and she's also one of your guides. Okay, so the message for you right now is, and I want to be very clear here because it's your family we're talking about. The message for you right now is to stay connected to the ones that you love. Okay, so I believe you have your sister in your life, and there's also a daughter-in-law with grandkids. So to stay close to the people in your life and to make a home with, surrounded by love and family and support. This is a time of rooting and really enjoying the connections that you have and appreciating them, so that you can feel a sense of belonging, and you can feel a sense of feeling needed and wanted by your family as well. And I think it's important for the grandkids too, because they don't fully know you. And I think that that's one of the things that your mom wants to communicate to, is to make sure that they know you, and so that you can, talk about their father, you can share his legacy, you can, yeah, you can make sure they know how much he loved them. Okay. She's like, absolutely resonates. Okay, good. Thank you, Jenna. I appreciate you validating. Um, so this is what the message is for you tonight. Just surround yourself with loved ones, family members. This is what's most important right now. Even exploring some of your ancestral lines, so that you can weave this into your awareness, and you can weave this into your storytelling. Storytelling as you pass on information about the family to your grandkids. Okay, that's my message for you tonight, Jenna. I'm glad this resonates. Thank you for bringing this to our community. I appreciate you. Beautiful. Okay. Hi, Jolie. Jolie says, hi, Sabrina. I've been having more dreams the past few days. It feels like maybe something new is trying to come in. Okay. Let's see what I have for you. This has to do with your physical health. Um, the message I'm feeling for you has to do with your physical health. So I don't know if you're like, and this is very specific, but there's something that you're taking in, that you're doing, that's causing restlessness. Okay. So I would recommend watching your relationship with caffeine, watching your relationship with whatever stimulants you might be taking that's kind of interfering with your rest. Okay. It's important to and the reason I say this is because it's affecting your nervous system, and it's making you a little more anxious than usual. So part of what wants to come through in, she's a coffee. Yeah, coffee. Um, it's got to go. I know it's a tough one, but it has to go because it is affecting your nervous system. Of course, that's what caffeine does. A little bit is okay, but it's excessive. Okay, and it's really preventing you from cultivating presence and patience and compassion for yourself and for others, which is what you want to cultivate. This is what you want to create. So yeah, it's your guides want you to know that it's time to heal your heart, and it's time to learn how to expand it so that you can allow more love into your life. And this is part of your deepest desire, is to bring in partnership, relationship, companionship, to have more love, but a love from a secure place, not from an anxious place. Okay, so again, the physical, the caffeine is kind of interfering, right? It's creating the static energy. It's interfering with your energy, and it's keeping you from going deeper in your inner work and being able to really grieve and let go of everything that's in the way of you being willing to give and receive love and expanding your heart. I feel like what's coming down for you, the pipe for you, is new partnership, new relationship. And but there's some physical things we need to take care of so that you can really love yourself and feel comfortable in your body. Okay. That's my message for you tonight. Okay, Jolie. I want you to take care of your physical self. Give yourself a chance to really process your emotions. Coffee is one of those things where you can drink it and then move and go and do things and be active. It's counterproductive when you want to sit and actually process your emotions and feel the full range of them so you can meet them with softness and compassion. Okay, this is not compatible with the effects of caffeine. So that's my message for you tonight. Okay. So for anybody who's drinking too much coffee and doing inner work, inner healing work, this is also for you. Okay. She's like, I actually bought some tea a few days ago. Okay, good and beautiful. See, we're right and we're in tune with each other. We're in sync. Your soul knows, right? Your soul intuitively knows. Black tea has more caffeine in it than regular coffee. FYI. So make sure that if you're weaning off coffee, your next stage would be green tea, which is a different type of caffeine hit. It's more sustainable. There's no crash. That would be your next step until you're off it completely. Okay. So that's how I would wean off so that you don't get withdrawal headaches. All right. But again, a little bit is okay. Everything in moderation, just making sure as you're doing the deeper inner work, and especially if you're keeping a dream journal, because believe we talked about that before, you want to make sure that you're getting deep rest. Okay. That's my message for you tonight, Jenny. Thank you for being here. Beautiful. Just okay. Thank you. Yay. Good. Who else is here tonight? Next question. Hi, Sunshine Beauty. Okay, Sunshine Beauty says, what advice do you have for the connection with the Scorpio I was talking to? Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I feel when I tune into this is that, again, this is very similar to Amy. So Amy, if you're still here, I hope you're listening. It's kind of like there's more to this person that needs to be revealed. This is a very different energy because I feel like Amy's Chris was like light and friendly and sweet and so on. This Scorpio energy that we're talking about is definitely there's a lot of depth to this person. He is not telling you the whole story. Okay. And I don't mean this in a like a he's lying intentionally way. I feel like there's some part of himself that's self-conscious about what it is that he would love you to know about him, and so he's withholding that information. Okay, so he's self-conscious. He fears rejection, he fears judgment, and so there's things about his life that he hasn't fully shared with you. And when a human being isn't comfortable with their story, they're not at peace with themselves, they're not comfortable with being fully transparent, that's going to alter the way they show up in relationship, especially in dating. Okay, so um let's see what she is validating here. She says, yes, deep and raw person, he loves deep connections. Yeah. So, I feel that from him, but there's more to this person. Okay. That I feel like he's judging himself and he's afraid of what you might think or what you might say about a certain situation. And therefore he might run a little hot and cold. He might be a bit distant. You might have a really, really deep conversation with him, a really deep connection, deep moment with him. And then all of a sudden he pulls away or he withdraws because he's afraid of getting so intimate, emotional, creating such emotional intimacy, which can be scarier than physical intimacy from almost all human beings. He is also transparent. Okay, good. So there's something here that he is going to share more of, as you get to know him. He just needs to know that he can say anything, right? He needs the freedom to know that he can say anything to you. She's like, this is actually me who is in, that is actually me who is inconsistent. That's okay. So good. So thank you for validating that, and verifying that with me. This is the dynamic. Okay. So he wants to know that you're not going to run. He wants to know that he can reveal what he wants to reveal, or say what he wants to say to you, and that it's not going to scare you away. Okay. So again, that could be the dynamic, that's the dynamic that I see unfolding here. And you just need to decide if you can fully commit to this person, if you're ready to be in this intense dynamic with someone who wants to meet you at that level. Okay. And I don't have any red flags about it. I think that there's more to be revealed with this person. But I think that, yeah, I think that there I think this is part of what you want. I think that you need to learn how to trust love, and how to trust this connection more. Okay. Um, so this feels very karmic between you and this person. It feels like something you have to go through. Sometimes these karmic relationships are not always easy. They're not always fun. They can be painful, but there's an important lesson for you here. Okay. She says, I want that level with him, but he is into things that are taboo, like you mentioned last time. Yeah, I asked about him. Yeah, okay, good. So I'm glad you verified that. I don't remember the reading I gave you last time, but thanks for validating that. And you know, you just have to set boundaries. You've got to set boundaries. This could be the more that needs to be revealed, by the way. Okay, there might be other things here that he hasn't fully shared with you, that he might be into, that he was afraid are going to scare you away. So that makes sense. Okay, so again, I don't feel like this is a bad person. I just feel like this is, a person who's into things that perhaps don't align with you. I don't feel like it has to be the end of the relationship. It's just a matter of you setting healthy boundaries, and honoring yourself, and trusting yourself enough to say, that's as far as I can go, or this is my edge. That's, my point of comfort. This is where it needs to stay. Okay. I feel like he's very into you. So you're the one who needs to trust and allow yourself to experience the full range of whatever's available for you here in this relationship, so you can learn and grow. This relationship is going to teach you boundaries, and it feels karmic. It feels past life, actually, with this guy. You'll notice a pull, right? Like there's a gravitational pull towards this person that's so intense. She says, yes, you said he was into me last time, just like that. Okay, good, beautiful. So that's consistent with my reading. Okay, so I really feel that, and I feel like that there's a major lesson for you here. I want all that he has to, accept the taboo part. Um, you want all that he has to offer except the taboo part. Yeah. So again, set the proper boundaries. Oftentimes, for those of us that are into, those humans that are into things that are taboo, or a little bit, unconventional and so on, there's a deeper need that wants to be met. This is a strategy to meet a deeper need. Okay, so you get to the root of what the need is. It can be the need for stimulation, it can be the need for safety, it can be the need for self-expression, as we're talking about tonight. Okay, that's one way in which people express themselves. So again, I don't see an issue. I don't see rejection on his part. I just see that you need to set proper boundaries, and go ahead and continue this relationship if you want. I don't feel like you're in any danger. I would say that if I thought you were. I just think that there's conversations that need to be had about where this person has been, what they've done, what they want to share with you, and what you're up for and what you're not up for, and be honest with yourself about it. Okay. But otherwise, I feel like this is a deep connection you have with this person that's karmic, and it's a relationship you're going to have almost, you can't even help it. You have to go through this. It's part of your soul's karma to experience this. Okay. That's my message for you tonight, sunshine. Thank you for being here tonight. Beautiful. Hi, Poppy. Poppy said, hi, Sabrina. I would like to get a message from Solomon, my ex. A no contact. You're welcome, sunshine. Thank you for being here. A no contact. What does this mean? I guess you're not currently not have contact with him. Let's see. interesting because it feels like the whatever split there was abrupt and yeah, it feels like there's some confusion or a lack of clarity as to what happened to this person. So so let me just see if I have Solomon's permission here. I feel like what's here for you to learn this, I'm going to answer this question. Okay. Your lesson in this is to, first of all, I feel like there was a lot of expectation placed on this relationship before. I want to say that, like, it may be in your mind or in, she goes, yes, it was abrupt and I did not get my closure. Okay. That's what I feel. So here's what I want to say to you. I feel like you thought you were further along than you actually were. Okay, I don't know how else to say this. I say this with love and kindness and compassion. This happens sometimes. We think things are going well, or we think this is more serious than what it actually is, or we think that there is a deeper connection than what there actually is. Okay, so I feel like this person kind of just pulled away and either panicked or got scared or realized this isn't what I want or wasn't really in for the long haul. Okay, and that's what happened. This person, it's not personal to you. Sometimes people get involved in relationships and they realize that they don't have the presence of mind or the emotional bandwidth and capacity to really show up for a person in the way that they're being asked to. Okay, and that's all that's going on here. There's nothing like, you didn't do anything wrong. I just want to, like, clear that off for you so that you understand this is not personal to you. Okay. I feel like just this person isn't, um, yeah, it just doesn't have the capacity to go the distance with you. Is not interested in a deeper commitment, is just not interested in whatever the vision it is that you had for the two of you. This person doesn't share that. Okay. And I want to say too that there were some signs, okay, along the way. There usually always are, but we don't look at them because we want what we want and we want to believe that things are going well. But there were definitely some signs of this person being either inconsistent or not showing up or not honoring their word, not giving you what it is that you needed or wanted in the time. I feel like you've made some allowances along the way. Deep down inside, you kind of knew, right? And so the pull away was abrupt. I find like this person really isn't 100% clear on what it is that they want. Okay, his energy feels very confused, and so that's what's going on here. It's nothing more complicated than that. He just is not up for it, whatever it is that you wanted. What did not have a shared vision for the relationship, and therefore and lacks integrity. And I hate to say this, but a lot of people do. A lot of people don't, they don't come back with and restore integrity and say, she goes, yeah, it was short lived. It was a short lived connection. Okay. So again, he came in, that whatever happened, then he was just like, I don't want this, and so and not a lot of people have the presence of mind or even a character to say, you know what, I really like you, I can see that you like me, and I can see that we don't have similar interests, or I don't want what you want. And that's all that happened here. Okay, so I want to just leave you with peace in your heart and know that this is a gift, that this person is not in your life anymore, because you're not trying to make something work with someone who doesn't actually want what you want. Okay. And you are worthy of somebody who wants to meet you in love. We all are. Okay. So again, this is very similar to a lot of the questions that are coming through tonight. The theme here tonight is when we're talking about self-expression and giving ourselves permission to be seen, this is about authenticity, right? Getting real with ourselves, getting real with who we really are, what we want in relationship, and not agreeing to something that doesn't feel like it's in alignment with us. Okay. So, you know, give yourself permission to get to know a person really, really well and verify within yourself whether or not this person matches my value system. Can they meet me in love? Can they meet me in all the places where I've learned to love myself? Okay. That's really, really important. Okay. She says, so there could be someone out there for me. Of course, Oh my goodness, of course there is. There is someone out there for you. There is, if you can be there for you, if you can love yourself fully and completely, there is someone who can meet you there. There's someone who can meet you in the places where you don't love yourself, but that's not going to be a fun relationship. That's going to be a painful one, right? So you want there, if you can meet yourself in love, okay, in those places that you find are hard to love, in the places where you judge yourself. I feel like you judge your, either your body, your physical attraction, your physical attractiveness. There's some judgments around that, some self-conscious thoughts around that, and there's doubt around your ability to be with someone or to draw someone in or to be able to sustain a relationship with somebody. So there's a deep desire to connect with someone intimately and emotionally. And again, it's really about falling in love with yourself. That's my message, of course, for you and for everybody, is to fall in love with yourself. Meet yourself in those places where you find it's hard to love you, and something will shift in your circumstances, in your magnetism, in what you bring into your life. Okay, this is so important. It's so important that you meet yourself with softness and compassion and believe that you are worthy of love. Okay, and we're here to not necessarily find love in another. We're here to find love within ourselves and then to share that love with another. Okay, so it's kind of backwards in the way we do it as a society. Is we look for somebody to be in love with. Look to be in love with yourself first, and then the person you can share that with will show up. Okay, that's how I met my beloved, and that's the advice I would give anybody who's looking for partnership. Okay, thank you for being here tonight. Beautiful. Thank you for asking such a beautiful question and posing this, that opened up this whole dialogue. Who's next? Take one more. Illyria. Okay. Hi, Demix. Sorry, I can't see so well. Hi, Sabrina. I want to know what my guides have to say about my career in what is next, and that is the new job offer I'll be doing will be positive for me. That is this new job offer. Okay, so let's talk about your job, Demix. I don't know if you've started yet or not, but it feels like this is, um I feel like you're going to learn so much about yourself. I mean, of course, I think that's true in all new opportunities, but it's going to be a very sort of activating experience for you. You're going to learn a lot about what you're doing, and it's going to activate some kind of thirst for knowledge. I see you actually wanting to go deeper into understanding your role, maybe even taking a class or two that's going to complement what you're doing. But you're in a phase now where you really want to master something. Okay, that's what's being activated here in this new job. Um, and I feel like it's going to open up some doors. I actually think the role that you're going to be in is not long term. It's going to be a temporary position that puts you into something else that's more stimulating, that's more there's it's almost like it looks like a staircase, like you're moving in the first level, you're coming in the door, maybe entry level, and then you're going up, you're moving up in this organization or in this field, in this particular industry, and that's going to open up something for you, and it's going to be stimulating, and it's going to help you build self-confidence, which is ultimately what you're working on here. Your higher self spirit is partnering with you in this situation to help you build your confidence so that you can be you can feel better about yourself. You can improve your self-esteem and trust that there is a way for you to stand on your own 2 feet, to create a life that's secure and sustainable, which is another piece that you're working on as well. Okay, so these two things combined, I feel like, are where your soul's at right now. And it's important for you to learn how to trust yourself and to be visible, to be fully self-expressed in what it is that you're doing. Like I said, I feel like this is going to activate something deep for you. And there's going to be a thirst for knowledge or wanting to go and learn more about what it is that you're doing. It's going to be exciting. You'll meet some like-minded people, and there's going to be a very positive experience for you, I feel. Okay. And it's a long time coming. It's a long time where you've been really kind of looking for a place that a community or an environment that you can be part of, that you can feel like you belong to, so that it can bring out the best in you. Okay, so that's what I feel very strongly for this career opportunity, and this is all of 2026 for you. Okay, thank you for being here tonight and for asking the question, for allowing me to channel spirit for you. Beautiful. Okay. All right, everybody. We're going to wrap at 6 o'clock. Thank you for being here with me tonight. For those of you that didn't get your questions answered, I will be back on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Sorry, what's Demi saying? I haven't started yet. I'm still working with a past mentor to help me with my skills. Thank you. Okay, good. So this is positive then. I mean, this is, again, it feels that's why I asked if you had started or not. It's going to be really great. It's going to activate a lot of a desire to know more, to learn more. Okay, so you can go back and watch that portion of the reading, and of course, come back and comment. Let me know how this unfolds for you. Okay. For those of you that didn't get your question answered tonight, we had so many questions in the chat. Please feel free to book a reading. You can come in and sit with me one-to-one. There's the link if you want to go deeper. Of course, we can get on Zoom together. We'll see each other. We can interact. I can answer all your questions, and we can really feel into the situation. If you can't wait till next Wednesday, please book a reading. Otherwise, I'll be back here on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, and you can put your questions in the chat. I strongly encourage you to join our membership. There is closer proximity to me in the Facebook community where I go live. I do readings there. I answer questions there. I do deeper coaching. And of course, you get priority access in the chat. So if you're a member and you're here on the live broadcast, I always get to your readings first and we go a little deeper together. Okay. So, and the Oracle Gathering is coming up on January 30th as well, or 31st. So thank you for being here with me tonight. It's my honor to offer these readings, to offer this guidance and these teachings, and to encourage you to love yourself, to believe in yourself, and to give yourself permission to be authentic with who you are, with how you want to express yourself, how you want to be seen in the world, and to trust that if your soul is longing for it, there is a desire for it to be expressed. There is a need for it to be expressed in the world. Okay, so we all have a special purpose, and my deepest wish for you is that you find yours and you follow through on it. Okay, so in the meantime, between now and Wednesday, all my love. I will see you soon.